Blunt Cuts is a podcast fueled by creativity, curiosity, and empowerment. We cut through the daily mess of life. This is unfiltered honesty. Park your passive at the door. This is Blunt Cuts. Welcome to Blunt Cuts. I'm CJ. And today I just want us to be better. And by better, I mean consider others. And by us, I mean me. But consider others, especially those different from us. So this week kind of took me back to a talk I had given. And I gave a talk this week to creatives on empathy. This is a talk I've given before. The professor of this college class reached out to me because she had saw me spoke and present this talk on developing with empathy as creative designers. And she said, hey, will you come in? I have a storytelling class. I really would love to have you just use that content you used at the conference. It was really great. I think it would be awesome for my class to hear. And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So procrastinating nature that occasionally is more frequent in my life, especially right now with so much going on at home with everybody being here. I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll just, So the morning of, I'm looking at the content and I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Like it all felt different. And it kind of felt like re-going through this content that I had developed, a year plus ago, really felt a little bit more like a breakthrough. And I don't necessarily know how to phrase this without it sounding like self-boasting, which that's not the case. So those of you that know me, whatever. And those of you that don't, you'll get to know me. But this breakthrough, I mean, the words just felt different and they were my words, but they ultimately felt really real in this time and in this climate of where we are today. So we do need to think and do better and be better, and for a single fucking moment stop being so selfish. So my talk touched on a lot of different things within this world of empathy, and as creatives, our responsibility to uphold that. But one piece that I really want to kind of talk about today is product design, and solving the world's problems really does live in the minds of us creatives, and I think in our hands and in our thought process. Creatives are going to be the problem solvers and the innovators of our world and the generations to come. So I think when we're creating, the biggest thing that I think can really make an impact is when we're including and thinking from all perspectives other than just our own. And this may sound simple. This may sound like, of course, we would do that. But even the best among us cannot help solving problems without our own personal bias attached, right? So a little bit about me and my personal bias, just to bring you through that. I'm your slightly taller and thinner, but yet average woman consumer on paper, right? I am privileged. I'm white. I'm employed. I'm healthy-ish. I am able-bodied. I'm loved. Yada, yada, the list goes on. My privilege doesn't mean that I have not faced challenges. I have anxiety. I have some painful spinal conditions that I've had since childhood. I've been sexually assaulted. I've grown up with chemically dependent caregivers. I've lost a child during pregnancy. I have endometriosis. I've had close friends die. That's just a bit of me and my canvas. And I know you all have your own experiences that make up you and yours. And today isn't about that. But I really do think painting the picture of who we are really does give us a lot of insights into our personal biases when we're creatively problem solving. So I challenge us as creators when we bring our ideas to the world, and specifically products. And as consumers, I don't develop any products. That's not what I do, but I consume a lot of products, right? So when we're creating products or when we're considering developing or bringing something to the marketplace, I think to think about others first is a really cool solution. And then bringing things back to, our personal bias and our personal reasons why we want to solve a problem usually ends up being a personal experience, right? Like if I was going to bring something to marketplace, it's because I've had a frustration with something in my life. Tall girl problems, right? I can never find a pair of pants to fit. Like, why can't I just buy pants like a man that are the measurement to my waist and the measurement to my inseam? Like, why is this so fucking difficult as a woman? So if and when I ever develop a goddamn jeans line, you will be able to find jean in your fucking inseam. But anyway, so I digress. So things like that, like it is personal. It is to your own personal bias. And I could talk about so many different places and spaces that this applies in this product realm. But right now I want to look in the mirror and talk a little bit about beauty products. I think it's a simple place to start. I know as women, most of us have touched a beauty product in one way, shape, or form. And I know, like, when I enter a beauty aisle, anywhere, your big box store, your convenience store, your bodega down the street, even if they have a very small sampling of beauty products, it's made for me and for those who look like me. And I'm not unaware to that situation. But what I have realized is, those products are not only just physically reachable in every way, shape, or form for me. And I can kind of grab a lip gloss and move on, and it works for the most part in general with me and my skin tones and all the things. Until recently, I didn't really think. I didn't think about like what I was consuming, and I've really made a conscious shift. And now all I do is think about what I consume from a product space. So back to the lip gloss. Was it made safely? Is everything in this product safe for me? The U.S. doesn't require beauty products to pass rigorous safety testing or standards in what ingredients are included in them. So not just the ingredient makeup, but then was this produced safely? Are the employees making this product in a safe working environment? Are they paid fairly? Does this product work for a non-able-bodied woman? I mentioned spinal condition. I recently had a flare-up this summer in which I caused injury and couldn't use my hands. It was very short-lived for me. Thank God for modern medicine and medications. Mine was just nerve damage, and it came back fairly quickly. But for that moment, like, I couldn't do or live the way that I lived, right? So is this able to work for somebody who can't use their hands? Arthritis, I know that that's something, that my mom faces. And so ultimately, like, does this work for a non-able-bodied woman? Does this product work for women of color? Is this marketed to a non-gender specific space? That's something I've really been thinking about a lot lately. And I work in advertising and communications, mostly on internal employee spaces for really large corporations. But if I'm starting to pay attention to consumer advertising and thinking back to some of the makeup that I used in high school, and, maybe she's perfect, maybe she's Maybelline, like some of these taglines are just like fucking awful and disgusting. And makeup is for everyone, and it can be for everyone. And why do we get so specific? So that's the gender specificity thing is a new piece that keeps popping into my head when I'm purchasing products. Is the price point approachable? Like I said, I'm employed. I feel very thankful, and I make a good living and can walk into a store and purchase a product and not think about the lip gloss. But is that the case for everyone? Does this company care about our world? That's a big one too. I think as consumers, and as I continue to grow and learn and see my children walk around in the park, and I don't want them to be having to walk around trash or be in unsafe to not drink out of a drinking fountain because we've destroyed our environment. So does this company care? What are they doing with their off chemicals from their production? What's the packaging like? All the things. So yes, I digress, but shopping is completely exhausting for me right now, but it is critical for me as a consumer to demand more. And I think it challenges us to think bigger and think back to those companies and those products being developed. Like, are they being developed inclusively? So challenge our personal bias. Think from someone else's seat. Is this developed for someone completely opposite from me? And then I could bring myself into the situation and say, okay, and this also works for me. So cool. I fucking think it's really something, and we're onto something if we, in all of our lives, just kind of think from that polar opposite right now. My internal dialogue, just to kind of summarize, goes a little bit something like this when I'm buying lip gloss. CJ, think like your skin is not white. That you don't use the Hershey pronoun, that you've just lost your job, that you have allergies, that you aren't able-handed, and that you want your children to have a planet to be able to play in safely. So big things for something so small as lip gloss. But we all know that it's so applicable to so much more. And buying is a privilege, and my dollar is a privilege to companies. So I challenge companies to not put products on the shelf that aren't worth my dollar. So thanks for hanging out with me. You can continue the conversation with me on Instagram. You can find us at Blunt Cuts Podcast.
Blunt Cuts is a production of Matriarch Digital Media. Executive producer Twyla Dang. Edited by Beth K. Gibbs. Production assistant Mia Register. You can find more great podcasts from Matriarch Digital Media at matriarchdm.com.